And what has ultimately proven to be yet another lost, wasted season for this Chicago Bears organization that's gotten so bad to the point where I determined that as long as John Fox is still the head coach of this team and Dowell Loggins is the offensive coordinator, I can no longer watch their games. After all these years, after all this time, and really after all this time wasted, it's like enough is enough. And if they don't care, why should I? And it's that simple. You can take any talk you want about being wishy-washy or being a fair weather fan and shove it. Because I feel justified, and I've given this organization enough time over the years, and if they do the right thing this offseason, they'll be right back in the fold where I always have been in 2018. But the greater point I'm getting at is that for so many of these lost Bears seasons over the years, there really hasn't been a lot to be excited about. There hasn't been a lot to be looking forward to. There hasn't been a lot to give you reason for hope or optimism. Now, sure, you would get the superstars like the Brian Urlachers and the Lance Briggs, and then a little later on, guys like Matt Forte. But in general, it's really tough going watching Bears games week in and week out, month in, month out, season in and season out. And I've seen some really great Bears players over the years, and I've seen a lot of bad ones. And here's what I do know, is that the Bears, at least I can say, have a franchise player. They have that dude. No, at this point in time, it's not the young rookie quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. Too early to tell one way or another, especially with this coaching staff. It's nobody on the defensive side of the ball. They have some nice players over there, but nobody that's a franchise type of guy. The guy that you build the entire operation around. To me, the Bears do have that guy. And his name is Jordan Howard. And it's frustrating to me to see this kid, former 5th round pick who transferred from UAB when they closed down the football program, went to Indiana, came in, and all he's done is be that dude out of the backfield for some bad Chicago Bears teams. When you look at Jordan Howard so far in his short career, we're not even 2 full seasons through it. Last year as a rookie, he set an organizational record for most rushing yards as a rookie. Not Walter Payton, not Gale Sayers, going back in history even more, not even Beatty Feathers. It was Jordan Howard with his 1,313 rushing yards in only 13 starts in 15 games. Think about that. He averaged just over 100 yards a start. Impressive stuff. In an organization that could make the claim to having more great ball carriers than any other organization in the history of the National Football League, as a rookie, he gained more yards than any of them. He's also the first Chicago Bears running back to have 2 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career after his dominant performance on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's already 14th all-time in Chicago Bears history in rushing yards, and by the end of next season, assuming he stays healthy, he'll probably end up 6th, where he's going to be looking up at guys in the future like Walter Payton, Matt Forte, Neil Anderson, Rick Caceres, and Gale Sayers. That's a pretty good list to be nipping at the heels of. I'm just saying. And I felt like last year, with all the buzz about Ezekiel Elliott and all the great things the Cowboys did, going 13-3, and looking at Ezekiel Elliott and saying, wow, in 15 games he had 1,631 rushing yards, averaged 5 yards a carry, 15 touchdowns on the ground, 700-plus yard games. You're like, that's what you hope to get out of a running back if you draft him in the top 5. You want him to be a franchise back. You want him to be a difference maker from day one. And he most certainly was. He was all of that and so much more. All that feed me stuff he ate over and over and over again. But I felt like last year Jordan Howard had the more impressive rookie season. Talking about only 13 starts, 1,313 yards on the ground, a higher average yard per carry with 5.2. Yes, only 6 touchdowns, but he still had 7 100-yard games, including 3 times where he had them back-to-back. So he had as many 100-yard games as Zeke. And you look at it, Jordan Howard was saddled with an offense that was being quarterbacked by Jay Cutler, Matt Barkley, Brian Hoyer. mediocre offensive line, questionable weapons on the outside, questionable play calling, all of that. Just on a bad team. That's what Jordan Howard did. And he wasn't even given the ball. He wasn't even given the lead back role to start the season because, again, it speaks to how poorly Dowell Loggins and John Fox can evaluate their own offensive talent. Basically, they didn't know what the hell they had. To me, averaging a higher yards per carry on a much crappier team, whereas as far as Ezekiel Elliott, while his numbers in theory were better, yes, he also got to play with a fourth-round rookie quarterback in Dak Prescott, who had a really good rookie season. He had former Pro Bowlers on the outside like Des Bryant and a tight end like Jason Witten. Everybody knows about the Cowboys and their best offensive line in football with 3 former first-round picks and Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick and Zach Martin. Jordan Howard had really none of that. And on a 3-13 team, he averaged close to 100 yards per game. To me, that was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. That was the best rookie ball carrier last year, not Ezekiel Elliott. And I mean that as no offense to Zeke, but how dominant would he have been in the Chicago Bears situation, and how much better would Jordan Howard have been if he played on the Cowboys? I'm just saying. And now you look at this year. In 13 games, 1,032 rushing yards, not quite the same average per clip, but 4.4 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns. He's had 500-plus yard games. He's had big performances against some solid to really good defenses like Pittsburgh, Baltimore, New Orleans, Detroit, and all again doing this on a crappy offense with horrible-ass draft-nick Mike Glennon as a starter, and then in over his head rookie Mitchell Trubisky. He's had nothing at the quarterback position again this year, just like all of last year. Again, a less than stellar offensive line that has injuries to Kyle Long and so forth, and just generally has had some games where they played okay and other games where they haven't so much. Horrible skill talent outside. We all know how terrible the Bears' skill talent is on the outside, with even worse and pathetically predictable play calling that intentionally puts Jordan Howard in bad situations consistently, where you know on first down they're going to run, on second down they're going to run. Sometimes they're going to run on third down too. It's run, run, pass, run, 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 pass, run, 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 pass. That's pretty much been the Bears' formula in terms of their offensive play calling all year. And yet here is Jordan Howard averaging almost 4.5 yards per carry, with, you could argue, even worse quarterback play this year compared to last, even worse offensive talent around him, and he's still doing his thing. And the whole reason I'm bringing this up is I know the Bears are bad, and I know they stink, and I know they're a joke of an organization because they are. But it frustrates me to no end that Jordan Howard gets almost no national media attention, no national media, social media love, and the fact is he deserves it. He is the number one reason to watch a Chicago Bears game right now. He is their best player. He is their franchise player. And don't at me with your dumb crap because you know it's true. And I find it so frustrating when I see these other rookie running backs like the Leonard Fournettes of the world and the McCaffreys and the Camaras and Dalvin Cook when he was healthy. And don't get me wrong, that 2017 rookie running back class was outstanding. We all knew that, and I certainly did, and I talked about it. I'm not surprised at any of those guys and what they've done. They've been incredible. But it's like Jordan Howard, again, just kind of gets swept off to the side, just like he did last year because he played on such a crappy team. Very similar to a Walter Payton early in his career. For so many years, Walter was wasted on so many bad football teams, and I don't want to say that happened with Jordan Howard. I just don't want to see that. And no, I'm not making a comparison between Jordan Howard and Walter Payton. I'm not crazy. But what I am saying is that Jordan Howard is this team's franchise player. He has a chance to go down as one of the best running backs in Chicago Bears history, and it's about high time the media caught up with that and started giving him the attention that he deserves. And one way I feel that they can do that to right some of the previous wrongs in terms of just how under the radar he goes is, to me, Jordan Howard should be named a first-team NFL All-Pro running back. Because when you look at it right now, he's fourth in the league as the time of this recording in rushing yards. The 3 guys ahead of him are Le'Veon Bell, Kareem Hunt, and Todd Gurley. Look at their situations. Le'Veon Bell is spectacular. And he does a lot of his damage both as a runner as a thrower, but he's only averaging 3.9 yards per carry. And he's got Big Ben and Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster and Martavis Bryant when he wants to in that offense. He just a better offensive line. The Pittsburgh Steelers could potentially win the Super Bowl this year. And Le'Veon Bell can't average 4 yards per carry. I'm not trying to sit there and say that Le'Veon Bell stinks. By no stretch of the imagination does he stink. And while he's better all around, it just frustrates me so much that Le'Veon Bell is put up on this pedestal of being this huge, massive superstar, and Jordan Howard gets none of that attention. Kareem Hunt, early on in the year specifically, he was getting all this attention, tearing up the league, But the fact is, through 13 games, his first 5 games mattered, then you had 7 that really didn't, and then you had another one that just did this past Sunday. Jordan Howard's performance has been more consistent. Jordan Howard is better, and Jordan Howard doesn't also get the benefit of playing with skill talent on the outside like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And then you look at Todd Gurley, potentially an MVP type of candidate. He's gotten the benefit of having Sean McVay come in, an offensive mind that's young and knows what the hell he's doing. Then you have the growth and development of Jared Goff in year number 2. You have guys on the outside like Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods, an improved Rams offensive line, an improved approach and a philosophy and everything that is not Jeff Fisher. Jordan Howard, again, has none of that. He's been saddled with either Mike Glennon or Mitchell Trubisky as his 2 quarterbacks this year. Can you name the top 2 Bears in terms of receiving yards? I'll wait. For a lot of common people, common fans, can you even name one of the Bears starters at wide receiver? Can you name their starting tight end? Can you name 3 of their starting offensive linemen? No. To me, to have Jordan Howard come back with 3 games left in the season, he already has over 1,000 yards. He's still averaging a pretty productive clip. He's had some good performances against good to very good run defenses in this league with absolutely zero offensive help around him, other than maybe Tariq Cohen, the other running back, the 4th-round rookie from North Carolina A&T. To me, when I compare that resume, and even with guys right behind him on the rushing yards list, like LaShawn McCoy and Mark Ingram, they're playing on playoff teams or potential playoff teams or playoff caliber type of teams. Better systems, better situations. Yes, even LaShawn McCoy in Buffalo, the one thing that team knows how to do is run the football. And while, again, I understand Jordan Howard's not prolific as a receiver, and that hurts him, you also must understand how much of a handicap he gets playing behind that mediocre offensive line with that horrible-ass skill talent out the outside, with the inconsistency and lack of proven production and performance from the quarterback position, and being handicapped with the nincompoop incompetence of a coaching staff that doesn't know their way out of a paper bag when it comes to the offensive side of the football. I defy anybody to name me 2 running backs this year that are more worthy of getting first-team All-Pro than Jordan Howard. I'll wait. And in my opinion, you're not going to convince me this guy playing in this crappy situation again is going criminally underrated. He deserves the respect that he has earned. He deserves that national media attention that has largely escaped him. And I know if anybody asks me who I think should be an All-Pro or a Pro Bowl, for me, Jordan Howard, Pro Bowl, that's a cinch. He should be, again, no question. But this year, him, Le'Veon Bell, or him and Todd Gurley, whichever combination you want to do, those guys should be first-team All-Pro. And notice, I'm saying either Le'Veon Bell or Todd Gurley because, again, situation and what he's done. I feel like Jordan Howard is every bit as deserving, and I know it won't happen, and it'll be a crime when it doesn't happen, because to me, Jordan Howard is not only one of the most underrated running backs in the National Football League, he is one of the most underrated stars in the National Football League, and it's about high time the NFL media, the national media, caught up with it.